I have a belief that in Episode 8, the dark side of the Force will be significantly stronger than possibly ever experienced before in a Star Wars film, not only with the developing character of Kylo Ren and his abilities, but in the Force itself. Throughout the Star Wars universe, there have been Force phenomenons known as Force Nexuses. These Nexuses are places that are exponentially more powerful in the Force than nearly anywhere else in the galaxy. A great example of a Force Nexus is in the EU, the Valley of the Jedi, and I believe an event that occurred in The Force Awakens may have created a dark side nexus, prompting the tide of the war to shift in the favor of the dark side and those that command it in Episode 8. To begin the explanation of what caused this possible nexus, I would like to go back to the Death Star and Alderaan in the original Star Wars film. When Grand Moff Tarkin ordered the planet to be destroyed, he did not only kill millions of innocents, but he also inadvertently created a dark side nexus due to the mass amounts of death that occurred in that one location. This caused the dark side in that area to be more present than usual. Death and suffering on a mass scale is a key contributor in causing the appearance of dark side nexuses. In The Force Awakens, potentially trillions of lives were lost when the Hosnian system was targeted by the Starkiller base. And as an extension, the First Order. And while if a nexus did indeed form, its immediate effects would not be felt instantaneously. Soon enough, the dark side energy in the area would, however, fester and become more prominent. If the destruction of a single, far less inhabited planet, such as Alderaan, could facilitate the arrival of such an uncommon shift in the Force, it is more than likely the destruction of many planets, each being far more inhabited than Alderaan, and death of many in the Hosnian system would also provoke such a backlash of energy in the Force. Now let's explain how Force Nexuses affect people, more specifically Force Sensitives. Force Sensitives present in Force Nexuses have experienced significantly increased power, and it also allows them abilities they would not have been able to tap into unless under specific certain circumstances, such as Force Nexuses. If the result of the death of so many does indeed form a Force Nexus in Episode 8, it would certainly be one submerged in the dark side, again due to the mass amounts of death and suffering experienced in that area that was attacked. The result of the forming of this nexus could be the thing that turns the tide of this conflict to the First Order's favor. The area would also be the perfect area for Snoke to train Kylo Ren, exposing him to abilities and powers he knew not existed, feeding his hate and aggression, molding him into the perfect dark side user. It would also be a symbolic teaching grounds, forming the new Empire and dark side order in the remnants of the Old Republic and ashes of those who fought so hard for the light. This would also be a prime area to lure those strong in the light. It may provide the rare chance for those to rival the power of others that may be potentially far more powerful and gifted in the Force. This could end up being the only opportunity Snoke and Kylo have to best Luke in a battle, although the extent of Snoke's or even Luke's abilities are still currently an unknown. It could also be an opportunity that the Knights of Ren could take advantage of, an attempt to ambush Luke or even other high-ranking members of the Resistance or remaining individuals still a part of the New Republic. I would find it very interesting and unique if they go this route and explain that the deaths of so many not only dealt a crippling blow to the Republic, but also may have some longer-lasting, possible even more sinister effects. This would make the deaths of so many more meaningful and tragic than it already was in The Force Awakens, and continue the story up into Episode 8. If this Nexus does play a role, it would also be a great opportunity to showcase some amazing Force abilities that we haven't yet seen. I'd also like to talk about briefly the possible light side nexus that could be in Episode 8, the first Jedi temple that Luke is at. This could be the reason he went there, because it's exponentially more powerful in the light side of the Force than others, and the destruction of the Hosnian system could be the jump that Snoke needed to form a dark side nexus to combat the light side one. All of this is of course a theory, although I do think it is very interesting. They could never touch on it, and Episode 8 could go a completely different route, although I hope that maybe we can see some stuff with this dark side nexus in possibly even extended content, because we've seen before, especially in the EU, that characters that are far less powerful than others have been able to beat others in the presence of dark side nexuses. Of course, Darth Zana being the perfect example of this, when she was finally able to kill her master Darth Bane when she was in the presence of a dark side nexus, and allowed her to conjure dark side tendrils that pulled Bane down. It's just a little theory that I have, and honestly, I do hope it plays some type of role, even if it's not a gigantic one. So anyway, guys, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that we could see a dark side or even light side Nexus in episode 8? Thank you so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.